I've been teaching advanced placement xenobiology at Harwick Secondary for 19 years. I know what a difficult room looks like. I know what a bored room looks like. I know what a room looks like when something walks in, and the air pressure quietly changes. She came in on a Tuesday in October, halfway through the semester, transfer paperwork filed same morning. No counselor escort. She found the back row without asking, set a plain canvas bag on the desk, and folded her hands on top of it. Mid-50s, I guessed. Gray at the temples, kept short. The kind of posture that doesn't come from yoga. I introduced her as Ms. Veer and moved on. The syllabus doesn't wait. We were covering Dravathi's circulatory architecture that week. The redundant pump system, the hemolymph routing through the secondary thoracic cavity, all of it sourced from the Vesson contact accords field appendix, which is about as current as my district budget allows. 14, 17-year-olds, the sharpest seniors I've had in a decade, all staring at the holographic cross-section like they were trying to win something, which, in this class, they usually are. Priya went first, the way she always does. She had her tablet open to the appendix. She called out the page number and read the passive membrane absorption rate back at me with the confidence of someone who had memorized it the night before, which she had. Ms. Veer raised her hand, quietly, not urgently. I nodded. The appendix has the passive rate wrong, she said. It measures at 8.3 milliliters per cycle in standard atmosphere. That figure was corrected in the Vesson follow-up survey. Actual passive absorption runs closer to 11. The error propagated because the original sampling was done at altitude. Silence. Priya looked at her tablet. Follow-up survey isn't in the appendix, Priya said. No, Ms. Veer agreed. It wouldn't be. I wrote the correction on the board and moved on. I told myself it was a research artifact, something she'd read somewhere. People do independent study. It happens. It happened again on Thursday. We're working through the Kethrali nerve cluster diagram, the one that explains why a standard sedative dose calculated for carbon-based biology does roughly nothing to a Chanthli mid-tier. Daniel, who wants to go pre-med and never lets anyone forget it, started citing dosage conversion tables from the literature. He had the right tables. He had them memorized. Ms. Veer waited until he finished. Those tables assume resting metabolism, she said. Kethrali mid-tier in an agitated state runs a metabolic multiplier between 4 and 6. Standard dose in that window doesn't sedate, it irritates. A pause. The corrected field protocol uses a two-stage delivery. Smaller initial dose to assess the response curve, second dose calibrated to what you observe. You don't front-load. Daniel stared at her. How do you? She looked at him the way a wall looks at the weather. You read it somewhere, he said. Not a question. A dismissal. Sure, she said. He went back to his tablet. She looked at the diagram. After class, I kept her back for a moment. I told her the corrections were useful, that I'd like to know her sources so I could update the syllabus properly. She zipped the canvas bag and stood. The appendix is a good starting point, she said. Tell them to trust their instincts when the numbers feel off. In the field, the numbers are always a little off. I asked her what field she meant. She smiled the way people smile when they're not going to answer. Good class, she said. Smart kids. And she left. I pulled her transfer paperwork from the district portal that evening. Receiving institution was listed as Harwick Secondary. The sending institution was a 6-digit code I didn't recognize. Not a school district. Format. Not a university system. Not a research consortium ID that matched anything in the public registry. The classification field under prior enrollment was filled with a single word, restricted. Date of initial enrollment in the prior institution was listed as 31 years before Harwick Secondary opened. She didn't come back on Friday. The district logged her as a completed short-term transfer, duration satisfied, no forwarding address. I updated the syllabus. I crossed out the Vesson appendix passive rate figure and wrote the corrected number in the margin. And beneath it, in smaller letters, I wrote, field verified. I didn't write her name. I wasn't sure the name on the paperwork was the right one anyway. The smart kids asked where she went. I told them I didn't know. That part at least was true.